What is going on, guys? Your boy Pony Montana. In this video, we're going to be going over the easiest / best defense in Madden 24. Now, before I get into it, if you guys are new to the channel, do not forget to hit that subscribe button, like the video, comment down below on anything that you guys might want on the channel. We're doing it all. And hit that noti bell so you guys never miss a video. And like I said, we're doing it all. So, again, ebooks, tip videos, defense, whatever it is that you guys need, leave it down in the comment section. If you guys have nothing to comment, just leave an FTA. It stands for the algorithm, and it helps push these videos to more and more people, so more people can discover the channel. More people discover, the more we grow, the more we post and go absolutely crazy. So let's get right into it, man. The best defense in Madden. It's the easiest defense that you guys are going to be able to run, and you're going to need a couple things for this to be the case. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this video, and I'm going to go to coaching, depth chart, and we're going to go check out my defenders. Again, it is the best defensive video that you guys might watch. And there's a specific stat that you guys are going to want to have on your defensive cornerbacks to make this defense just absolutely lights out for you. And the one stat that we're going to be looking for, it doesn't matter about speed, it doesn't matter about anything else. It is going to be, I'm looking for it still, the press rating. As you can see, my three top corners all have a 90+ press rating. I would like it to be a little bit higher, and any cornerbacks that end up coming out that are part of a promo are all going to have a high press rating. And then a man coverage rating. As you can see, they're all above 90 as well, which makes my life a little bit easier when running this defense. Now, the reasoning for that is because we're going to talk about an ability that might open your eyes to some new things in Madden 24. Now, for those of you guys who have been living under a rock and you guys still play Madden, you guys should know about the patch that just dropped recently. It completely just destroyed stamina in this game. So it kind of led to a lot of us thinking, or some of us thinking, what are the abilities that we can do to completely affect the offensive stamina? Because defensive stamina is just out the window now. As long as you got a fat guy on offense that's taking care of anybody that is a little bit smaller, those guys are being fatigued pretty much into the ground. So how else are you going to play defense, and how can you fatigue the offense? Well, there's an ability that I'm currently running, and if you guys watched the gameplay video that I posted, you guys might have noticed or might have seen exactly what I was doing. And the ability that we're going to be talking about, well, we're technically talking about two abilities. Let's start off with the secondary ability here, and that's going to be deep out zone KO. So we're going to have deep out zone KO on our top two safeties, on our two high safeties, so that they can go ahead and knock the ball out. For those of you guys who don't know what deep out zone K is, it is an ability that forces more catch knockouts, and they react quicker in deep zone coverage, 20+ yards from the line of scrimmage and outside the hash mark. Sometimes you'll get an animation within the hash marks, but again, it's just one of those glitchy abilities that everybody seems to use. Even if you click on abilities in the ability tier list, deep out zone KO is right there. Now, the number one ability, this is the most important part of this video, is this ability here, and it's somewhere down here, this right here. Boom. Bench press. It is not spoken about enough, and I want to give a shout out to Mactavius from the chat. He kind of put me onto this. He was like, yo, you should try this. We tried it. It worked like a charm, and that's why I'm bringing it to you guys. I have not lost a game while running this defense yet, and I've played about 3 seasons. So with that being said, it's something that I feel like you guys should have, and that's exactly why I'm here. Bench press. Defenders with this ability apply bonus fatigue to their man coverage target after a successful press win. What does that mean? Is you're going to need high press rating, which we just showed. And what this is going to do is it's going to fatigue the offensive player drastically on the offensive side. Now, what happens when the offensive player is fatigued? Well, that means that they won't be able to run their routes properly. They won't be able to cut properly. They're just going to be slower on everything, which means that your defender is going to be able to catch up to pretty much every single pass, no matter if it's a man beating route, no matter if it's a drag, no matter what it is. You're hoping to press that person so that you're almost taking them out of the next play. So again, if the press doesn't work, if they're facing someone, if you're playing someone who's got like a high release rating, then obviously it's going to be a 50-50 thing, but you will end up winning that matchup and slowing that receiver down. And then it's just going to be a pretty much a game of time and chance that you're going to play with your opponent, because not everybody's going to make those reads, or they're so used to the timing of specific routes that they'll start throwing routes that are going to be just, they're not going to be open simply because their receiver is going to be tired. So the way that we're going to do this, the most efficient way, is we're going to come out in any cover 2 man under. So you're going to come out in some kind of nickel. It doesn't matter if it's nickel over, nickel 3-3, nickel 3-3 cub, big nickel over G, because you're going to utilize the 3 cornerbacks that are on your field. So right now, my 3 cornerbacks are Tillman, Tariq Woolen, and Julius Peppers. He gets secondary cornerback chem. This is not a regs defense. This is simply a Madden Ultimate Team. Let's scheme up kind of defense, and that's exactly what we did. So you're gonna come out in 2 man under. I like to come out in nickel 3-3 so that I can have a decent user that is not manned up to somebody else, because as you can see, we have 3 down linemen, and my job is to pretty much fake like I'm rushing the passer or the lineman, and then back up and pretty much try to do my coverage. So let's go ahead and change our package here, because that is a different conversation to be had. But we're going to come out in 2 man under, cover 2 man. And then on the offensive side, let's come out in tray flex, I guess. Something where they're going up the field and we can get a nice little press animation. So what we're going to do is we're going to come out and we're going to man align, right? Right now, this guy is man aligned to the tight end, so it's not going to be as good as we would like it, because we have to still focus on this gentleman right here while he's doing this. Now, I will say this. Let's not forget that if they don't win that press, they could potentially burn them for a wide open route. But the point of this entire defense is to not get beat over the top, and that's exactly why we have the 2 high safeties here with their X factors active and with the deep out zone KO. So what we're going to do is we're going to shade underneath, and to shade underneath, you press triangle or Y. And then as you can see, the coverage adjustments pop up, and then we're going to shade underneath. And before we do that, you're going to want to man align, obviously, because you want them to be pressed. So man align, press, and they're going to come down, and they're going to shade underneath, and then shade towards the outside. Why do we shade towards the outside? Because we want them to pretty much play everything that's going towards the outside. Corner routes, whatever the case is, we want them to be beneath that, because we have the safety help over the top to help with any route that's going over the top towards that outside. Your job as your user is to guard this middle part. Pretty much take your user and look at the mid read, and that's going to be your assignment. Just going back and making sure that nothing is going over the top of your head, or, those short intermediate routes that people like to run. So let's call the play one time. As you can see, everybody got a press there. So when everybody gets a press, they are hawked down a lot easier. Now I'm just going to throw a random pass here, because obviously the pass rush was non-existent. And once that happens, I'm going to go ahead and call timeout. Not timeout. I'm going to show the instant replay so you guys can see this in full effect. These guys are playing. These guys have that bench press ability. So this is technically, it's not a win, but it's not a loss. So they still will lose stamina here. And as you can see, this is Tyreek Hill, one of the fastest players in the game. And as soon as you see that guy put his hand out on his hip, he's following him. He's hugging him. He's pretty much on his hip. And if he throws that pass, you're going to be able to click on and get some kind of interception. So even the guys that don't have the ability have the potential chance of pretty much shoving these guys and making a play on that ball. This is Carmichael, who's just not. He's literally 6'8". He's not going to be able to run stride for stride with any receiver that's on my team, or he shouldn't be at least. But as you can see, these guys are all getting that press animation, and it's just going to frustrate pretty much anybody that's playing against this. It's just one of those things that is going to be very, very annoying. Now, if they are running certain routes to begin with, it's going to be frustrating at first, but once you get that press animation, all of a sudden their team is just 10 times slower, and that's exactly what we're accounting for. The patch made it so defenders are a lot slower, not offensive players. So when we're sitting there and we got our bench press going crazy and winning their matchups, you're simply going to slow down your opponent enough to pretty much make it so that their receivers are going to be slow as well. And once their receivers are slow, so let's take this for example. Say this guy ends up extremely slow simply because bench press was working. Well, now we don't have to worry about that person at all because we know our man coverage guy is going to be glued on that person the entire time, to the point where they're going to have to force some passes. And that's just going to be that's going to be the nature of the game. They're going to have to force passes. Same thing if you end up getting two of these guys. If two of these guys end up getting bench pressed, you don't have to worry about them at all. You have to worry about the other routes on the field, and that's it. You honestly, if you come out of the huddle and you notice that these guys on the, any one of these guys is breathing heavy, you can honestly take the deep zone behind that and pretty much shift them over to another route combination that could potentially be beating you somewhere else. Simply being able to take that guy out of the play because, they're bench pressed, they're tired, they're slow. They're not gonna matter in the case, in anything when it comes to this. And I know this is a good scheme for a lot of you guys that don't have a good team. This is a good scheme for those of you guys that don't, to try out. The only thing that you're gonna need to do is find a safety with deep out zone for cheap. Okay, because 2-2-2, that's 6. We have 11 AP to use on the Madden Ultimate Team side of things. So you have 11, 2-2-2 plus 3 plus 3, that's 12. So you're gonna need to find one person with one of these abilities discounted. And right now the cheapest person that I have is this Jack Tatum here, which is gonna help you guys out a lot. One of the fastest players in the game right now, and he gets the abilities that pretty much make your life 10 times easier. This is the easiest way to play defense in Madden. So again, just a showcase. And again, man coverage is one of those weird things that just seems to work really, really well. Now, the last thing that I'm going to talk about, and I know I'm talking a lot, but there is a lot to this, besides just shading underneath and shading over the top, outside. Besides matchup personnel and stuff like that, one thing that I like to do, and I noticed somebody asked me how did I get pressure in the gameplay video that I posted. I simply shifted my D line to the opposite side. I don't know why, but for some reason the shed seemed like they were coming in faster, and then I took my user, made sure that this little icon was above his head, and all of a sudden the defensive pass rush seemed like it was actually working really, really well. And let's see if it'll work here. As you can see, look at how clamped everything is, and that's just man coverage. Everybody's slowing down, and this is a telltale sign that it's not just the team that I'm using, because my offense is just as good as my defense. So it's simply that the ability is low key working. So even mid play, they're getting tired and slower, while my defenders are actually catching up to them and pretty much being able to make a play on the ball. So let's go ahead and do it one more time. And we're simply going to try to throw one of these passes. Everybody gets pressed. Look at triangle. Just completely bagged. That's Tyreek Hill. That's an LTD card being chased down by a non-LTD card. It's going to frustrate your opponents to not be able to pretty much throw anything. And obviously there's going to be ways to make this even better. And once those ways come out, I'll be sure to make a video and drop it for you guys. This is the absolute easiest defense that you can run in Madden 24. My name is Pony Montana. I will see you guys in the next one, man. As always, 2 fingers, deuces, and peace out, you guys.